Good afternoon, everyone. It is our privilege to be here today from Palomar College. We'll start by introducing ourselves.
Hi, I'm Nicole Mark. I am nursing faculty.
Hi, I'm Cindy Anfinson, mathematics faculty.
Hi, I'm Joe Briseño, sociology faculty.
Hi, my name is Heather Pham. I'm child development faculty.
And I'm Richard Carr, English faculty.
We've had wonderful support from our coach, Ana Garcia, who is a chemistry faculty member from Monterey College. While we have each individualized our work, there are areas of collective action we'd like to highlight, such as decolonizing our syllabi, revising our grading policies, utilizing zero-cost course materials, and/or exploring expanded use of these and implementing non-disposable assignments.
Hi, I'm going to focus on my two favorite areas of change and improvements to my course. The first is diversified lecture content and coursework. One of the insights I gained from OFAR is that nursing education does not accurately present content regarding BIPOC individuals in healthcare. I added resources for assessment of different skin colors, and we explored overt policies and systems which perpetuate structural racism and medical racism specifically, including discussions on oppression. The new content reflected the current and past healthcare environment. Some students were aware of these disparities, but many were not. I provided interventions the students may utilize as nurse advocates to combat overt racism in healthcare. And I also added an assignment which explored their nursing identity. Students reviewed the identity wheel and wheel of privilege. We openly discussed how their identities could influence their roles as nurses and their collaboration within healthcare teams. The students led discussions on many topics related to their identity, including racism in healthcare, medical trauma, and the challenges faced by dark-skinned women in healthcare, and advocacy for patients unable to access care. My hope in making these changes was to empower students, validate their experiences, and ensure they understand their importance to any healthcare team. Next slide.
My focus this semester was on my Child Development 115 class, where we examined the socialization of children. This class is part of an apprenticeship program for 22 students to become preschool teachers. And from assessing barriers with these same students last semester, I worked with my colleagues to establish a study hour for students so that we could eliminate two of their primary barriers, which were access to reliable technology for their classwork and time where they can focus on school outside of the demands of their home lives. We provide individualized support in a computer lab for an hour after class every week for these students. Additionally, I created a unit on culturally responsive work with children and families, which highlighted anti-racism, implicit bias, and applications for these in early childhood. Moving away from a research paper for the final project, I co-created a new final project with these students. Each student created a fictional child, added information to these children every few weeks, and now at the end of the semester, their project allowed them to envision themselves as the preschool teachers they will soon be to these 22 children. They created a report or presentation with the modality of their choice to their preschool directors, discussing some of the social influences, systemic barriers, and family engagement strategies for their specific class of students. Here's a picture I took from one of our classes where we had class discussion about the ways that culture may influence childhood or parenthood, along with discussion of how our awareness or lack of awareness may impact the relationship between the teacher and the family.
Hello, colleagues. I'll share 3 assignments. First, I started by introducing an identity wheel activity as a framework for intersectionality, which included markers of identity such as race, class, gender, ability, and a few others. The overall student response was positive. One student said that it taught them that they were assessing life circumstances through their own experiences and often paid little to no attention to those markers of identity that were much different from their own. The activity set the groundwork for the next assignment. The second phase was a project-based assignment that students developed throughout the term. As we learned about social justice statistics, we started by learning about characteristic or demographic variables using an open source survey. These were variables much like our markers of identity from the identity wheel assignment. As the course progressed, students learned how to run statistical analysis tests using variables based on markers of identity. For example, some students ran a significance test by exploring differences in wealth, income, health, and job satisfaction, among others, between racial groups. The next stage, I wanted the students to think beyond the findings. This led to the final assignment. Being anti-racist and anti-oppressive, as we discussed in OFAR, is an active process. It means we not only need to raise our own consciousness about race and racism, but to also take action in our everyday practices. For this reflection, I asked students to reflect back on the Becoming Anti-Racist illustration to assess their own growth, as well as anti-oppressive principles that we discussed throughout the term. As of this recording, I don't have those results yet, but I'm looking forward to reading student responses. Thank you for listening. Next slide.
Hi, in my Math 140 Calculus 1 class, I am currently working with other math faculty. We are developing a high dosage tutoring pilot program. Teams of 3 tutors attended several classes each week. Students work on problems together, and the tutors and I walk around helping students. Our goal is to connect with every student at least once during the class. I check in with students who I'm concerned about via Canvas and provide resources and support. I implemented equitable grading practices, including makeups on 2 of the 4 unit exams and flexible homework due dates. All class notes are accessible and posted on Canvas. Students print them out or use their tablets to take notes in class. The class examples and problems are blank for students to fill in. The Spotlight on a Modern Mathematician feature highlights a recent mathematician from a minoritized community. Students then created a discussion board post about a modern STEM professional in their major, why they selected this person, what interested them about their work, and what obstacles this person overcame. For open pedagogy, I created a Canvas wiki for students to contribute to the final exam review problem sets. Next slide.
The class I revamped for OFAR was English 202 Critical Thinking and Intermediate Composition. Here's a list highlighting some changes that went over well. First, I redesigned my first unit, which involved students critically thinking about themselves into a 4-part portfolio project. The students showed a great deal of vulnerability, and most said that it was a very therapeutic process overall. Next slide. Here are some of the collages I received. Second, I expanded my unit on symbolism and dove into different cultural symbols outside of the US, including the Adinkra symbols used in Ghana and the Ivory Coast. It concluded a group activity where students had to decode the symbols and then create a new symbol that represents themselves. Next slide. Overall, the students gave me positive feedback in their reflections, and they appreciated having more creative freedom and autonomy with their assignments. Next slide.
So in closing, our OFAR team will present our work at the Fall 24 plenary. Our institution continues to offer a strong professional development program with anti-racist work centered throughout. During the program review process, departments and disciplines are examining disaggregated data for courses and programs. Faculty evaluations are being revised to include several DEIAA components. In summer 24, our college is offering the Faculty Cultural Curriculum Teaching Institute, where faculty examine disaggregated data from their own courses and learn culturally responsive practices to enhance the completion and success of disproportionately impacted students. Next slide. Continuing work is being done on campus for ZCT and OER course materials. Student success teams are being debuted this year to increase the success, retention, and completion. Our first cohort is our Black African American students, and we are looking to expand to other DI groups as well. Anti-racist work is receiving strong support from our campus leadership. Next slide. Our work continues, and we thank you for allowing us to participate in OFAR.